Good morning, my friends. We have a really magical morning. I so wanted to show you the beautiful mists of Avalon on this very, very frosty morning. Jennifer, good morning. So can you see the beautiful mists that are just beginning to lift from the fields? And how wonderful they are. It's such a cold morning. And here you can see in the corner the circular enclosure of the healing spring, the healing spring of healing waters. And the mists are lifting. And I don't know if you can see that. They've just gone across. There's a herd of deer just gone behind the tree. They're down in the gardens. And they've been grazing. Let me see if I can show you. So, I don't know if I can expand the view. Yeah, I've managed to expand the view, but they're in the hedge down there. One's just coming out. One deer. And they were just leaping around down there. I saw them grazing about half an hour ago. Grazing down in the field. There's a baby. And there's a couple of others. I've seen 4 down there this morning. So we may come back to them. So let's just have a little look again at the amazing mists. I'll keep an eye out to see if I can see them. So you can see that's the water on the fields over there, and it's all frozen. So it's a bit like humanity at the moment, being frozen in fear. And as the sun comes and warms it up, the energy moves and the life returns. So it's a bit like how we move out of frozen shock into more sympathetic arousal. And we're teaching this weekend upon releasing frozen trauma energies. So what an appropriate morning to have. And trying to show you the tour, but it's completely bathed in mist just behind this tree. So you won't see it for a while. So yes, what happens? We get put into a frozen state, into shock, when we're faced with life-threatening situations, or perceived. They don't have to be real life-threatening situations. They can be perceived life-threatening situations, such as when you're looking at something on the television and it's telling you that you're in imminent danger and you're about to die, and that thousands of people are dying around you. That's something that will put you into shock, because your body reads that as a life-threatening situation, and it will put you into a deep shock. That's what we're designed to do. That's what our nervous systems do. We go into fight or flight. First of all, I can't see the deer. I'm just going to bring it back. First of all, we go into fight or flight, and then if we can't escape, we go into shutdown. We go into shock. But the problem is, once we've been into those places, human conditioning stops us releasing. Like those deer, they can just release any state of shock or sympathetic fight or flight arousal, and they go back to normal. But humans don't. We can do, but we tend not to if we're told to pull ourselves together, or we don't want to show our feelings, or there's all sorts of mechanisms by which human beings are kept in a state of shock or fight or flight. So this is inappropriate activation, when we're acting as if we're in a life and death situation and we're not. That's called trauma. That's what trauma is, when those energies are stuck, when they're frozen in our nervous systems. As we start to heal, or we start to move out of that frozen state, we have to be really mindful of how we do that, because the energies of coming out of the frozen state can be very intense. And I think this is what we're seeing at the moment. There's a lot of flare-up of anger amongst people. People are getting very angry and directing that anger at each other, which isn't helpful. It's not about us fighting with each other. It's about us actually understanding the source of the threat and what the threat really is, and how bad the threat is, if there is a threat, and healing that. So I can just see back over there on that frozen lake, the mists are just lifting up very subtly. It's like a steam coming up from the frozen lake. So though we can't see the sun very much, it's actually still giving a lot of heat and warmth to warm up the land right now. And this is what's happening with humanity, is that the heat is being turned up. We're beginning to move out of this frozen state. That we have to be aware and really support each other in this understanding, not to attack each other. There's a bird going over, some birds. Yeah, we really have to be aware not to blame or attack each other, because we're all trying to make sense of what's going on. And we're a couple of birds, they went over the top of the camera, you couldn't see them. Trying to make sense of a totally incoherent and crazy situation right now. And if we've already grown up with incoherence, as many of us have in our family situations, and we've already had patterns of abuse, then it's very hard to deal with the incoherence that's happening now in the collective, and the incoherent messaging that we're receiving from positions of authority. So if you've grown up in an abusive family, it's very hard with this kind of pressure to get through it. So we have to be aware of our mental health. We have to take good care of our mental health. And that means turning off the TV. It means turning off all sources of that messaging that's putting us currently into a global psychosis. We have to protect our mental health. And we have to draw upon our resilience. So knowing that humanity is incredibly resilient, we've come through all sorts of difficult times. And we have a creative spark within us that nothing can crush. We are divine beings. And the laws of nature govern us. And that we will rebound. We will spring up. We just have to really be mindful now in how we're springing up. How this consciousness is returning. How the consciousness is growing. I can just see the mist just moving and drifting across the fields here. They're beginning to clear from the tor. So yeah, just it's a bird. Do you remember to put some food out for the birds today? If you can. So the sun breaking through the sky there. It's like a painting, isn't it? It's like a beautiful watercolor painting. So let's just tune in now to our own resilience. Where in your body can you find a feeling of comfort and well-being? Where can you feel yourself rooted and grounded? These are the sensations to look for. So don't focus on the pain or the difficulty, focus on the well-being. So let's just take in a breath and settling in this moment. Taking a breath and a long out breath. And on that out breath, just allowing your body to settle. Just imagining your body becoming heavier. Feeling your bottom on the seat or your feet on the ground. Good morning. Everyone who's joining, good morning. And taking another breath. And a long out breath. Knowing that those long out breaths are really key in lowering the adrenaline and calming your body. And just feeling where you're sitting in this moment or standing. Anchoring into the earth. Sending your roots down like a big strong tree that can weather any kind of storm. You know the sun's coming soon. And taking a breath. And another long out breath. And just letting your shoulders drop. Feeling the weight of your arms. Noticing your hands. Noticing how your hands feel in this moment. Allowing your jaw to soften. Allowing your eyes to soften. And just notice where you feel comfortable in your body. Settling your attention into this beautiful feeling of comfort in your body. And know that we're all interconnected. We're one big family of humanity. We're one big family of all beings, one consciousness, growing and expanding and healing. And that the part that you're playing is really important. We're all part of the web of life. So just feeling the strength in that now. You're part of the web of life. You and I are connected. You and the trees are connected. You and the birds are connected. And the deer and all creatures. And the sun and the earth, we're all interconnected. So just setting a really beautiful intention for yourself today. And if you can, lighting a candle, making some prayers for the safe passage and the healing of humanity, and for yourself, that whatever's happening in your life, that you can ground and anchor any kind of upheaval or discomfort and just connect into that deeply powerful resilience that you have. So I'm praying in this moment that we can all move through these difficult times and trusting deeply in the divine intelligence, the divine plan that guides all life. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Have a beautiful day, and bye for now.